8:30. And I will call this the Wednesday, July 2nd meeting of the Finance Committee meeting order. Roll call, please, members.
Wayland here.
Munson here.
Dave Larson here.
Severson here.
Nelson here.
Stacy Klein.
Andy Todd here.
And then staff members.
Good morning, Susan Fisher.
Haley Passo, DLM.
Mark Carlson, DLM.
Kathy Nelson, DLM.
Oh, there's a new face there.
She's the new face.
So,
She's been working out pretty good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. All right. We won't bother you for a speech or anything right now. Okay, I certify that open meeting law requirements have been met with proper posting. We have a 14-item agenda. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Klein,
I will second that.
second by Todd. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Has everyone had a chance to read through our minutes from our June 4th regular meeting? Any corrections or additions to note?
I did notice one thing I spelled wrong. It says species instead of specifies. So, I typed these up, so give me a break if it's not.
Okay.
Probably ought to correct to that.
Yeah, probably did. All right,
I'll make a
otherwise-
motion to approve
Motion
the
approved
minutes.
by Todd.
Yeah.
Second.
Second from Wayland. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Our next item on agenda is a discussion about comprehensive planning from our administrator, Rebecca Gluen. I don't know.
Good morning.
There she is.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm connected here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can, Becky.
Okay. Okay, good, good. Here, I'll turn on my, see if this works.
There we go.
So I wanted to just get back to you. I had some conversations about comprehensive planning. I had talked to Mark about this a few times. Also, because of the, we have funding set aside. We have the renewal of those comprehensive plans. We were looking at kind of that's on the horizon. It's not something imminent, but it is on the horizon for our townships. And so we were looking at that. And so I had a conversation with John at Mississippi River Region Planning Commission. And it is a project that he and his team are interested in. And so we discussed, he and I had discussed that we would reconnect in starting to look at planning for 2026, how we would be putting those, times into place and starting to look at 2026 and how we would plan for that. But so it is still on the horizon, but I just wanted to make you aware that, I did have conversation about this, and we do have an opportunity to work with MRRPC.
Okay, that sounds good. Any questions from the committee? We'll keep delving into that, I think, as meetings come. Yeah, I don't think anything else to note right now. Mark?
Like you said, it is on the horizon, but it pays to start thinking ahead now.
Can you put on your microphone, please?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I just reiterated that, yes, it is on the horizon, but it's good to start thinking about it now. So.
Yeah, get a plan in place, so. Okay,
I'll follow up with Mark, and we'll continue to talk, I'll work with Mark through that so that we can, look at the broad scope of who and what and the timing and everything. So I do think it is important that it's on the horizon, but yes, we do have to start because it'll come quick and it's a lot of work. And so this is good, though, that we had the conversation with MRRPC.
okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for starting that ball rolling.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Becky.
Thanks.
Item number 7 is a zoning update. Discussion possible action from Mark.
Well, we received a request to amend the ordinance for that railroad stuff. And so we just received it yesterday, and basically the language is changing from an easement with the railroad company to some type of permit or something of that nature. I guess we just got it yesterday, so we haven't really looked too much into it, but.
Okay.
So that might be something that we'll get on the next agenda with the public hearing, and
Okay,
we'll see whatever we need to see fit to do with it, I guess.
have discussion with that then.
Right. yeah.
What do you think the chances of ever getting a representative from the railroad for input?
I mean, I haven't had a whole lot of luck trying to find whoever I need to talk to at the railroad, you know. We've sent notices to railroad companies because they were like an adjoining landowner, and some of the addresses were Chicago or wherever, and they all came back, you know.
Yeah,
But,
that's why it seems like there's just like
I mean, they
a
have,
part missing.
I mean, I could, you know, like supposedly Ed and his council has talked with the railroad, so they might have a contact person, but.
Okay.
but
But the county has
question.
no authority in issuing that. That's authorizing the crossing.
No, I mean, it has to, I mean, all they're asking for is a written document from the railroad company that says they have a crossing, instead of expecting the railroad company to grant them an easement, which
They're not.
they
gonna
probably
do it.
would never do, but.
No.
But, and they stated that in their little brief letter, that the railroad company would not grant easements, but they may, it didn't say would, grant crossing permits or something like that, so.
Then I have a question for Susan. Like legally compared to an easement, you know, the language or the term they're using is permission to cross or whatever. Is that like something that would stand up? And is it, would it be in the deed?
So as Mark had mentioned, we just received it, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but I think probably what we need to do is look at that for the next, when we actually have the public hearing, and then to publicly discuss it then.
Okay.
But it's a good question.
Because, yeah, the existing crossing easement, whatever, is not grandfathered to the next purchasing party. That's our issue.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anything else from zoning to update?
Really, it's pretty much the same old stuff. Next agenda item I'll talk about, that's kind of a zoning update on that one.
Okay, well, we can, if there's nothing else, we can delve into item 8.
Yeah.
Which, Kuhn Trucking, update on progress at the site.
Yeah, I mean, it's scheduling conflict for him to be here today, but I did talk to him as late as yesterday. And I did drive in there. It seems like they got some recycled blacktop laid down more now, and he says they have like 50% of it completed. I mean, I didn't measure anything, but you can see it sporadically. They haven't done anything with that building just because they don't use that building in the summer. But they will have it enclosed before they start using it. That's what he emphasized. And, but since they don't use it in the summer, they probably won't do that till early fall or something.
Okay.
And then I did reach out to one of the neighbors, and he says it's better than it has been. So, and nobody's called and complained or anything like that. So
And they're making
no news
progress.
is good news in my line of work. But I guess I did reach out to one of the neighbors. It wasn't the one that was here, it was one that's been the most vocal, and he said it's better. He says it's not too bad, you know, so.
Okay, that's good to
So
hear.
I think it's moving in the right direction. Hopefully, they follow through with that building part of it, and finish up with the recycled blacktop. So
Okay, that's good progress to hear.
I think so too.
Okay, awesome. Well then, item 9 is their 2025 tree and shrub summary from Haley.
Yeah. So I would have had this last month, but I wasn't here last month, so I just figured I'd bring it here. So this year, our total for deposit for the youth education programs is just over $2,000, which is about where we generally are for most years. That's where we try to hit so that we can fund our youth education programs and go from there. Do you want me to put it up on the screen? No. Okay, I can. We had Sold over 14,000 trees this year and had a number of orders of 135. So the number of trees and the number of orders were slightly down from the last couple years. I think the part of that was that I ordered trees later from nurseries, and in August is when I ordered them, and that was too late. So that goes to say that I apparently need to order in July. So that is another thing that I'm going to be working on. I could not get the amount of trees that I was able to get in previous years when I ordered a little earlier. So note made is that don't wait too long to order from nurseries. So I think that decreased the overall, people placing orders, because we did have a couple very large orders as well. We had some really large ones that came in. So one person, would buy a large amount. So I don't think Square can limit that. It was asked if that was something that we could limit. I haven't found that capability yet, and I don't know if that's something that I want to delve into too much, because there's trees getting on the landscape either way, no matter, where they're going, or if one person orders one versus one person orders 15. So it's just another thing of, how much resources do you want to put into it? So overall, it went really well, and people are, again, really happy with the turnout of the trees. And I got a lot of good feedback at the end of the sale, and a lot of people actually reaching out now and asking, hey, when's the next one? Can you put me on the list? So there's been a lot of good communication. I think part of that is so Danny with the communications department posted about the tree and shrub sale on the Facebook page, and I got a lot of responses from that. So kudos to her for getting that out there, and just getting word out. People are even saying, I've never heard of this, even though we've been doing it since probably before 1997. So it's been around for quite a while. So it's really fun to see the new people and the returning people come back every year. So overall, really well.
Awesome. Good to hear. Okay. Next item is a discussion, possible action on PFAS. And this was something we'd asked Haley to dig into a couple meetings ago, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. So I did meet with individuals from the health department here and asking if they had anything in place for PFAS, and then what would be potential next steps, and if they've had any encounters with it on their end. I also called surrounding counties that did have detected PFAS in the wells, so La Crosse County and Eau Claire County I did reach out to, and I reached out to their conservation departments. I'll preface that there.
Excuse me, did they find it in private wells or only in the public well?
So in Eau Claire and La Crosse, I believe it was public wells, is they're in their municipal wells. And yes, so it had been detected in municipal wells. In that instance, the county health department, the local municipality, so whatever town it was in or city it was in, and then the DNR had been involved. The conservation department were not involved in those instances. As far as if there was a cleanup or providing emergency funds or anything like that. So the conservations were not involved in those. DNR and DHS, so the Department of Health, can provide emergency water if a drinking water advisory is issued. So that issue has to come from the DNR or DHS, and then they can provide funds or provide funds or the actual water. So there is plans in place by DNR and DHS for both of those, and I believe that is for both public and private wells. It has to have a drinking water advisory placed on that well. The health department, when I met with them, they haven't been testing they only test the TN, so that is the transient non-community wells, which is bars, restaurants, churches. There's a qualification that you have to meet, so it's not private wells. that they actually test. And the PFAS test for any sample is well over $400 per test. So the health department does not have funds for that, and neither does conservation at this point. And there's very limited labs that the PFAS sample can be sent to, and it's very strict on how it's sent, where it's sent, when it's sent. I mean, it has to be very specific on what is done, the protocols that are needed. DNR does have an interactive map of the different sampling locations that they've been doing. I believe it is only the public or the municipal wells, and where the advisories are and everything. So you can go onto that map, and I actually, on the second page of what I sent you, was kind of just a snip of that, of our area. So it is the major municipal wells in each of our like towns or cities or incorporated areas. And some of them did have detections, but it wasn't over the set limit of unhealthy set by DNR. And I can zoom in, but I can see which which municipalities those are. It's like Osseo, I think it's Blair, Pigeon. So they have detections. They didn't specify what the detection was. I don't know what those are. You could probably do an open records request for that at DNR. And then there is a toolkit put out by DNR that communities can use. And that is a larger document. I did attach that as well to the packets, that there is resources out there. It's still all of a developing situation, and new things are coming up all the time. So it's still developing. I think this was from 2020 is when that toolkit was really first created, and I think they've been amending it since then. So I did reach out to DNR, just the general information, because that was the best way to contact them. They said if you have like a detection or you want to know more, they are willing to sit down and chat with you. So there is options out there. I just wanted to make that aware. Conservation at this point does not have funding. I also don't believe I would have the staff level at this current time to really dedicate a sole person to PFAS and everything that goes around it. So that's the update. There's not really much as far as like action to take at this point, but I just wanted to give you updates on what is out there, what resources there are. It seems like it's pretty much municipality and DNR working closely together, and probably the county health department as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Just gonna comment, it looks like the municipalities, according to this map, are doing a fair job of trying to keep track of this.
Correct.
And then I saw someplace that the test is rather expensive.
Yes.
I think they estimated around $400 for a single test.
Yeah.
So that, you need to have a reason, I guess, before you,
You don't want to just start poking around
No,
willy-nilly.
so.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah, just wanted to give you, the information that I did find and reach out to individuals. So if you have more questions, I can definitely reach out more. I am not an expert on PFAS, and I'm not going to pretend that I am. So there are, I would say, more experts at DNR and I would direct you at that direction. So.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions?
No, is that something, I mean, maybe you don't know the answer to this. Is that something, if DNR noticed a problem someplace in the county, you would be informed of it? Or what?
It would probably be the county health department would
Somebody
probably
in the
be.
county would be informed.
Yes.
That's what I was looking
From
for.
my I would hope that would be the correct actions. I don't know as far as private wells. I think that's probably the plan of action as far as like in a municipal situation. But private wells, I think if there's over we're just gonna say the legal limit, if it's detected, they don't probably have to report it to really the health department or DNR, because I'm not gonna say there's no health risk, but it's below the legal limit.
So with the PFAS, what we're looking at is possible contaminants. Did they give you listing of how like other than the firefighting situation that we're having contaminants, because we did some exploration in this, and it's used in a lot of different things that people aren't ready to understand, all the way from herbicides that are on the lawn that are being spread at large grass areas, golf courses, people's residential, and that it is possibility also in solar cells. They use it to waterproof. PFAS, and so when people ask, what's the potentials, those identifying marks, we probably should background, at least have available for people in the county, possible contaminants and what has actually caused it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just remind, I mean, it's probably also in a lot of the t-shirts that we're all wearing right now, and a lot of the drinkware that we're using.
Yes,
I mean,
so
it's
fast food
really
products.
everywhere. And I don't think I can put a disclaimer out there, caution of PFAS in everything. I mean,
But I'm looking for the likelihoods, if we can reduce it, where can we actually go through and actually have reduction as far as PFAS? And that's one of those things that, that's something people like to know is, hey, nobody has realized how they're showing up in the areas, but the municipalities are detecting them at a high level.
yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if that's something that would be more of a health department advisory sent out, or I shouldn't say health department, health and human services, since we have merged. If that's an advisory that they would send out, or conservation, that would probably be, it might be a done, or a county-wide. I mean, it might not even come from a specific department, more of a county, but that would probably be more of on the legal side and a Susan question that we can work further on, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you for digging into it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Hopefully there's no more to come
I agree.
at this point. Okay. Item number 11 is a conservation update from Haley.
Yep, I will just keep on talking here. So projects are moving along. We have, right now we're kind of playing with Mother Nature with these pop-up showers, and you never know where they're going to be. So we're gauging on how projects are holding up that are being completed. We did have one, and then we had that 2-day gully washer but it held up. We were amazed, and we were all excited to see that it held up and barely anything moved. So we were all did a little dance in the office saying, thank goodness. And then as we're opening up areas, we're really trying to, look at the forecast, plan with the contractor and landowner of, hey, what happens if, let's just try to, be a little bit proactive. There's a lot of grade stabilization structures going in right now, so it's a lot of dirt being moved throughout the county. So we're all trying to, really watch of what's coming up and, going in. So we're trying to get them, once a contractor starts, really it should, depending on the size, they can be done within a week, covered and ready to roll. So they move quick, and it's really amazing to see what they can get accomplished in a little amount of time. So it's good to see. Last plug for the cover crop application, because it is due July 15th. So we're just over a week away from that. So make sure to get that submitted if you're putting in or planning to put in cover crops this year. One qualification is that you do need a nutrient management plan, an updated nutrient management plan for this year. And then I think, like I said before, was that I will be ordering trees soon. So if there's anything specific or you want me to look into, let me know. I'm going to say it right out, is that I've looked into chestnuts. It's very hard to find chestnuts. It's one thing that everyone has always asked for. It's hard to find and very expensive. So it's hard to do as far as the tree sale that we have. But trying to stay with, the Wisconsin natives, seeing what else is out there. So I did get a lot of responses from the little survey that is out online and that Danny had posted previously. So there was a lot of people that did respond to that, of what different species they would like to see. And a lot of them I've done before, which is really great to see that I'll, probably rotate those back in. And then the last thing I have is that the Wisconsin Land and Water PIC Committee, so that's Professional Improvement Committee, is looking for conference suggestions. And for what year would that? 2026. I'm like, what year are we in? And I wanted to throw it out here, and you guys don't have to say anything now, but if there were any topics that would get you guys to potentially go to the conference, or if there's something that you would like to hear more on, let me know, because we are trying to get committee members involved as well, because it is an association for both the staff and committee members. So it is a combined one, and we want to make sure that we're, catering to both sides of that association. So if you have anything, just shoot me an email or give me a call, and I can relay that message back to the PIC meeting. They will be meeting in August. I think it's the middle of August, so have a month or so if you want to think about it, and just let me know. That would be awesome. So just wanted to give that little plug. And the conference this year in 26 will be in the Wisconsin Dells. So it is a little closer than Green Bay. So it would be potentially a little bit more doable on that end.
What's the timing on that conference? Refreshes?
Beginning of March. I think it's like usually between the first, usually the first week-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's like a Wednesday through Friday generally. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Everybody mull on that and send Haley all your ideas that'll make you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
That should be it.
Awesome. Future agenda items. Any other topics we'd like to discuss?
Any progress on the Trempealeau Lakes or whatever with that weed? We got that grant or whatever? Did that get implemented yet, or that's just in
So-
research?
I just received, actually, I think it was yesterday or Monday, I just received an email from Sean Giblin with DNR. He was one of the big components and players of the research done in the Trempealeau Lakes, and he sent me a document or a final study of what he did. I have not read it yet because I've been in the field quite a bit the last 2 days, but he would like me to look at it and then have a meeting to kind of discuss plans. The last discussion I had about the grant is that we're going to have to see if we can reformat the grant to see if we can use it for actual doing something versus doing a plan, because the plan is kind of set with this research that DNR already did. So we're going to have to talk with DNR about if we can morph that grant or if it's something that we're going to have to lapse and have it go to a different, entity. So, yeah. But hopefully I can get to reading that full document before next meeting, and I can always send that out to you guys for you guys to review as well, and then get that meeting set up with Sean and to see where we're going. So
Most grants they do the study, but it doesn't help with implementation of anything.
yeah, because this grant was really for the study or getting a plan, which DNR kind of did themselves. So I was a little looking at it now. I'm a little confused, to be honest, of where this was going. So it might be more of where an implementation grant might come into play at this point versus a planning grant. So.
Okay.
I think if we can, Kellen, if we could put something on the next agenda for what's commercial and what's ag. We should probably try to get all that figured out, so there's no more talk about what should be commercial and what should be ag.
That's in regard to some of the zoning,
Yep, some of the zoning stuff that we were.
agritourism versus.
Yep. If we could tie that in somehow next one,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Mark looks just stoked. He's so
There's
excited.
a lot of things I'd like to do about it, but I almost feel obligated we can't discourage things like that around here, we're kind of stuck with it.
It's
A
a,
lot of counties just conditional use permit it, some counties came up with a whole new chapter on it. But I got some stuff on it, we just need to put something together. I feel like our hands are tied and we're not gonna make them quit, I guess, put it that way.
It might be something that'd be prudent to wait on, because we do have a newly hired economic development individual that just got hired, last week, as far as for working for economic development, to let her have a little bit of say on, understanding better what we're gonna do for zoning. She might be able to contribute some information that would make it easier for us to zone and make it easier for her job also.
Right, we don't wanna add barriers, you know,
Well, I mean-
but,
I mean, they're gonna promote anything that we can use to gain money in this county, I guess. And from a zoning standpoint, we kind of want to prevent certain things from happening in certain areas because how it affects the other people in the neighborhood. So,
And the number one thing,
kind of a
that-
fine line, so.
the number one thing that they recommended, of course, from economic development through the extension thing was ice cream shops. So it walked right into the fact that that was one of the things that they said we should develop for economic development in the area.
I was
think-
down in that area a couple days ago doing zoning, and there's 2 signs about big as 2 of those TVs together, ice cream, so there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
I
And
buy
that's-
mine at the store and put it in my bowl in my house, I guess.
But if we can pull some Twin City money that pays for that ice
Yeah,
cream, that
well,
would be
it
good.
helps them, I guess. I
You
don't know how it
bet.
helps
That's the
everybody.
kicker. That's the economic development, and that's what the recommendation was from our committee that was on it, as far as for the PTED.
I'll just jump in here. I mean, I think I've shared with a number of you that I had a group of family friends up last weekend. And again, it's a regional thing. And well, why do we want to do this? I mean, because we don't want empty buildings for one thing, and it detracts from our communities, but also, so we were in Buffalo County, we were in La Crosse County, we were in Trempealeau County, and when we're doing things all across these counties, is where are we going to go eat? What are we going to go do? And then where are we going to stop? And you're looking at these places like closed, nothing open, you know, or open for 3 hours during the day. I mean, these are all, and I guess you're looking overall, it is really important to the economic development ecosystem of the county to make sure that we're looking at all these things. So anyway, I just wanted to pop in because it was difficult for us to find a place to go, which was unfortunate because a lot of hours on places are limited, and there's just not a lot of places in general.
okay.
My thing is, we just gotta get rid of the gray area. I mean, that's the point. We have this gray area, so nobody knows what to do. I mean, can I open up a business and sell ice cream and do all this stuff, and I can do ag, so I don't have to pay commercial rates? I mean, what can we do when it comes to that? You got another person that comes in, another person that comes in, another person that comes in. Hey, I can do this just so I don't have to do this. We just gotta have to get rid of the gray area. That's all I'm asking.
Right. No, that's fair too. So discussion can be had. Any other future agenda items? Hearing none. Next meeting date, our normal meeting date would be Wednesday, August 6th. I actually do know I won't be there, so it would be up to Dave to run that one. And that's fine. Doesn't bother me. I'll be at State Fair with my kids, so showing pigs. So I will be out, but as long as that works for the rest of the committee, we'll stick with it.
As far as I know right now, I haven't looked at August calendar that much, but I won't, it'll be later when I'm on vacation later in the month.
Well, if you can handle the 6th, I think we'll stick with our regular, so. Okay, and with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 9:03. Thank you all.